goes to. Working on it. Sequence. So, change this thing so it's just running. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming around. Just running some tests. Just running some tests. Again. I did. Bullshit, but Or just surprise you. No. I just surprise you with knowledge. What? So let's 1, 2, 3. Okay, so stream delay. Yeah. Unlearn? I'm not talking, I'm just setting things up for the stream as the title says here. I hope that you can hear me. If you can hear me, I would appreciate a confirmation. Ah, good. No, they have a chance of working out for HTTPS, but due to the way it was constructed with the HSTS header files, it's very difficult. But with the timing attack on the NTP protocol, which is on the router, there is a chance that you can bypass the HSTS and give yourself a narrow window of opportunity. But this is a long shot, although it has a realistic chance of working out. Nikith, this is not a live stream. This is a test. There's an inscription on the screen. It says this is not a live stream, just a test run. I am at the moment trying to configure the settings for the stream because there were some complaints last time in regard to the delays and stuff like that. So I wanted to fix those things out. It's not really a live stream. I'm just running some tests, but feel free to ask as many questions as you want, and you can get my email from YouTube. I mean, it should be available here. It is the same email that I use. You can send me. It's like kreponic.e@gmail.com, but you can get it from YouTube. I mean, it's not hidden or anything like that. I don't know, Hector. Like, try everything. Use one Linux if you like it or not. Use one flavor if you like it or not. Doesn't matter. Switch to another. Switch to another. Switch to another, and see what suits you. And then when you find what suits you, stick with it. I personally use Fedora. It can be a little bit tricky to use sometimes. Not a very beginner friendly distro. It's mainly intent. Its primary intent, I guess. I guess it's for development because it has a lot of support for any sort of development work. But it is a distribution that I would recommend. Arch Linux is also another great distribution, but definitely not for any sort of a beginner. You can begin off with Ubuntu or something like that, and then move on to something else eventually if you feel like it. But I would generally recommend trying out different things. And Hui, is it how to get the mail? You can send me an email. Like my email is public on YouTube. You can really do either, Robin. Depends on how much disk space you have, and are you on a PC or on a Mac? If you're on a Mac, do not go with dual boot at all. I don't really have a Facebook account. Aditya. I'm not sure who you sent it to, who you sent a message to, but I don't really have a Facebook account. Doug, I tend to like allow them to be downloaded, but when I issue the update, so with every update, the previous things become downloadable. I don't really manage things on Udemy as much. Pretty much somebody else manages that. I mainly deal with the production of the material, and I also like to interact with the community. So they are the ones who are implementing these rules or whatever. I don't know. I guess they have my. I guess they know what they're doing. You can set the resolution of Fedora pretty easily. Just go to just basically go to the settings and display settings, and that's the only place where you can set the resolution. Where does the network integrated card not work? On Fedora? What happened to Jerry Banfield? He violated some of the Udemy's policies, so they banned him from there. That's all I know, or so I think anyway. That's how I've been told. I didn't really investigate it that much. Yeah, we have, Doug, I have planned anyway to push a major update this summer. Not sure when I will be coming live. I need to prepare the material for it first. The login resolution. What is a login resolution? Well, I mean, you can follow it using Windows OS, but it's not really meant to be redone on the Windows OS. Oh, yeah, you can also download lectures in the app. Virtual machine. Robin, the way that the virtual machines and physical machines interact, you don't actually have direct access to the hardware, so you only have an access to the abstraction layer. So it doesn't work quite as you might think in terms of hardware interaction with the machine. If you want full capability on pretty much any device on the virtual machine, you have basically to create a full pass through. Oh yeah, some of my friends created that basically because I don't really have a Facebook account, so they thought it would be a good idea to actually have that there, and they are the ones who are running it really. I have very, very, very little to do with it. I can ask me in the live stream, or you can ask me, or you can send me an email or something like that. can get it here on YouTube. It's public. Well, you basically just send an email to the person owning the website. What am I trying to fix? I'm trying to fix the delay. The delay is below 20 seconds now, but I'm trying to perfect it as much as I can. Who pays for the sales on Udemy? Just interested because they are reduced by 90% nearly all the time. I don't really know. I'm not much of a finance guy. I know that the stream is fine because I'm also monitoring it, and it's fine in terms of video quality as far as I can see. Anyway, if you can see something else that I can't, please do let me know. But just trying to fix the delay, which is very very annoying. I would really like it to be alive. No problems, great stuff. I'll talk to you to meet things. Go. Okay, see you around, Doug. Are there any viruses on Linux? I think there are like 4 or 5 viruses that were ever made for Linux, and they don't really. They're not really anything serious. You don't really need an antivirus on Linux. It's like pointless, really. Also, Paul, I don't really control the sales. I don't even generally set the prices or anything like that. There's just like other people who handle those things. I'm really bad at those things. Like really. Well, good luck with that, studio. If you need help, I'm always around. I'll try to inform as many people as I can on Udemy and everywhere else that all the questions from this point on will actually be answered in the live streams. And I'm also working on basically somebody just scrubbing the questions from Udemy, taking a look at what, well, not scrubbing them, but just taking a look at what you guys are asking, so I can like create weekly responses to all the questions like this, because otherwise it would take way too long to just answer them all one by one. How to create your own encryption? Nikith, if you take a look at the keylogger course, there's actually a custom encryption implemented there. Yes, I guess it works something like that. Yes, basically, Paul, I just produce the content. I really don't like dealing with the marketing or anything else. It's fairly boring. Nikith, the encryption in the keylogger, the custom one that was implemented, it's basically a synchronous encryption, and it's fairly simple, fairly robust as well to an extent, and it's an example of how it can be done. And the asynchronous encryption, really, you just have the ARSA algorithms. Not sure what the license on those is, but you can take a look at the math and see how it goes. Are you asking like how much money does a freelancer earn in general? Depends what they do and how much work they do and the bids that they take. I know quite a few freelancers, they're living fairly comfortable lives. Yeah, you can do a lot of things with the SIM cards. It's just difficult to create a testing environment for them due to the legal issues with the usage of the frequencies. What's on Fedora? Is there anything else? The keylogger is not meant to run on Fedora. The keylogger was designed to run on Windows. It's not even going to compile on Fedora. There is no way that can happen, as far as I know, anyway. There really is very little need for me to go onto those websites. You can you can create your own products and market them very easily for any number of businesses. Yes, I live in Sarajevo. How can you find the IP address of another device on the same network without physically touching it? Uh, well, you take a look at your own IP address and you really just see what other you can a scan is possible. So just you can just see who has standardized ports that are open. Pretty much all the Windows and Linux and Mac OS X operating systems, they all have standardized ports that are always open. So if you just scan for those ports, you will find who else is on the network. Or you can just passively monitor the traffic that goes on in the air over wireless. Although this is not like a legal thing to do without explicit permission on the network. Yeah, you can just basically passively monitor the traffic on your own PC because it's gonna hit you if you're on the same network anyway. Okay, the stream delay is dropping significantly. It's around 10 seconds now, which is good, I guess. Well, you can download tools, but I mean, you don't really need any special tools. You can just basically use Wireshark and monitor passively the traffic that goes out in the air, and you'll pick everything up pretty much. Okay, Maja, like just English. Please do not write anything else in the local language. And LPIC1. Why not Red Hat? What's wrong with Red Hat? Yeah, they're quite expensive actually. That's what's wrong with them. Uh no, don't worry about it. It's fine. Just a lot of other people can't understand what's written, but it's fine, no worries. I just get acquainted with the shell of Linux. Like, don't do things through the GUI, because they can be a pretty. Like, just get acquainted with the shell, with the general commands in the shell. That's gonna save you a shitload of time. Like how to navigate through the file system, how to control the system processes, how to check the system processes, how to examine what's going on in the logs. Examine the log files and be extremely acquainted with the file system of the Linux. So when you need to find something, you know exactly where it is. You know exactly where it can be. And for example, if you need to find the configuration files, they're in Etsy. Also, make sure that you are familiar on how to. Oh, IT Academy. No, I don't really like them very much. No, just don't find their content to be up to my standards. Just my own opinion. So, Mojo, anyway, a few things. Be extremely acquainted with the file system. Know where everything is exactly. Like, if you need to find the configuration files, you need to know that they're stored in Etsy. If you need to find the log files, you need to know that they are stored in /var /log. Be able to navigate through the file system in the terminal. Be able to use the search commands to find what it is that you need. Be able to control the processes by starting them, stopping them, and examining them. Yes, basically that's the best way to learn, in essence. You're on the right track there, in my humble opinion anyway. I mean, you could get opinions from other people and they might be better or worse. Possible, be able to show us how to make our own exploits and hacking utilities. For example, could you show us how to create a botter? Okay, Sam Walters, I'm guessing you're referring to a botnet. And botnets are extremely complex to write. So yes, I was actually intending to do that, but I am pretty sure that a lot of people hate me because there's a lot of code that's going to be involved there. It's basically just pure coding. You start off, you open up your IDE and you begin coding. And you probably need to code in more than one language. And then you need to configure the servers and a lot of other things. And then you need deployment methods. So I was planning to put that in one whole where you have deployment, development, and exploitation. So like 3 stages. Well, I'm glad you do, Sam Walters. I also enjoy pure coding, but I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that. There's like 22 people in the stream. I can see 5,000 people sending me a message like this is too complex or something like that. Game development is quite different. App development, not so much. Plans were made for this summer, basically when I will have more time on my hands and when I'll actually be able to get into the code. There are 2 ideas on the table now, like to make an information gathering software in combination with virtual reality and to actually construct a botnet. So it's likely that it's going to be one of those 2. So something that would give you pretty much all the information on anything else by just using your Android camera. And a shitload of other sensors, which should be pocket size. Yes, Niket, from in 2 weeks' time, I do believe that we're gonna have videos on weekly basis. And I'm gonna put as much content as possible. Oh, right. Sam, I did manage to, in what little time I had, I did manage to construct a proxy. And that proxy was pretty much perfect. It was undetectable from the other end, and everything from the other end would detect it as a regular user. And I had to tweak and tune the TCP packet size, the UDP packet size. I had to tweak a ton load of things. And basically, it's a perfect masking of trails, system for masking the trails, your trails, and for providing encryption for between all the jump points. And it's very fast. Also, pretty simple enough to do from the client side, but pretty complex to do on the server side to actually configure it to mimic a router and to act as a jump point to another server, which is basically give you like 2 to 3 jump points of proxies and 2 to 3 points of separate encryptions, which would basically give you unprecedented level of anonymity. Although, again, I don't think that that will be doable from a Windows machine. You will only be able to do that from a Linux machine or from a Mac. IP stressor will basically come with the botnet, because once you're able to issue commands to bots, you can pretty much stress test anything. Thoughts on future cybersecurity jobs? They're just going to grow. The demand is just going to grow as the world becomes more digital. It's just going to grow. Those kind of certificates, that's just something that you would bring to a job interview. I don't personally think that they're going to give you real skills, would be a harsh way of putting it, but just my opinion again. Something that will be valued more in a job interview will be something that you've done in the past, some sort of a success that you had with something. Develop your own tools, Sam. Start developing your own tools. Look at the programming tutorials. Seriously, like that is, I mean, a lot of people come and they think, okay, I'm going to type in a bunch of commands in the terminal really fast and I will control the world. There is no magic button that you can press to hack systems. You basically need to code, and code a lot. And that's how you get somewhere. You don't get somewhere by just using predefined tools for which there are protections already because they're very well known. Have you have about CP/M? I'm sorry, Nikith, I do not understand you. At the moment, I'm making a Java course, which will serve as a prerequisite. I mean, it's not going to be a prerequisite, but it's going to serve as a very good baseline for a lot of the things that we're going to do in ethical hacking. How do you test your tools? Well, you test your tools in your own environment, usually with a lot of virtual machines or cloud machines, preferably, where you have a lot of freedom because you're basically paying for all of them. How do you test them out? Well, I'm trying to find an example for you, as that would be the best option. Well, okay, let me give you my example. For example, a virtual reality app that just basically gives you information about the devices by just scanning them, telling you the manufacturer, the model, etc., and then looking it up on the net, and then telling you what sort of vulnerabilities are there for that product and for the firmware versions on that product, etc. So that would be pretty easy to test out in your own environment once you've actually written it. That would be one example. It's probably not the simplest of examples, but another, yeah, that's something that I tend to do, but I keep it confined to my own network. Also, for example, I'm mostly interested in physical endpoint security and how to actually compromise it, how to break those systems. So embedding physical keyloggers into devices such as keyboards, mouses, monitors, speakers, etc., is one of the amazing things that a man that is done today. And I don't know, there was a DEF CON talk or something like that where I'm not sure if it was a DEF CON or from somebody else. I really can't remember from who it was at this point in time, but they basically sent very tight security. The firm had very tight security, and they were like, "Okay, can you hack us?" And they were like, "Okay, we'll try." And then they came up with the idea to put the keyloggers into these amazing looking keyboards, and then they sent like 10 of them to the IT staff, and they wrote on them from management for an excellent job, a pat on the back. And the IT staff received the keyboards, and then they used the keyboards, and in essence, they've given access to the whole network to the pen testing company. So that was one example of a brilliant hack. It was so simple, and yet efficient beyond measure. And that's something that people still do today. I mean, they just send stuff, and people end up using that stuff, and they end up giving away their access or whatever. Well, what does it matter what exists in India or not? You have the internet. Yes, yeah. No, seriously, that's the reality of things. You basically get it, and then people tend to use it for unknown reasons. No, don't do that. It's not very legal. Why would you give it to your whole family? I have no desire to basically know what my dad is doing on his private time on his own computer. Like, no desire of whatsoever. Zero. I don't want to know. So why would you give it to your whole family? Okay, tea that is probably 2 weeks old. Chocolate milk after 2 days. Hopefully it's drinkable. Okay, whatever happens, I drank it. Okay, can anyone tell me if there is a discrepancy between the sound and the video? Well, you basically sit in front of a computer, you spend about 12 hours. well, not 12 hours, but you spend a whole day, and then you sit again and you spend another whole day, and then you sit again and spend another whole day, and so on and so forth. A ton load of trial and errors and frustration and failure 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 and success. But success is so rewarding, it's beyond my ability to describe at this point in time. Sam, you're saying none at all? Is it not synced for you, or? Okay, thank you guys for confirming that it's synced. Okay, can you please tell me what is more paid, and which one is faster to find a job? Software development is definitely more paid, but it's probably easier to find the job as a Linux system admin. Easier to find, just the criteria are lower, I guess. But software development is paid way more. Depends what sort of software development, but in general, it's paid more. Okay, and is there a way to make Metasploit payload to send details about victim phone? I think that's an urban myth, but yeah, I guess you can actually make it, but would it actually work the way you want it to work? That's very questionable, to say the least. Why not make why wouldn't you make your own? Why wouldn't you make your own tool to do that? It's beyond me. Why? You get to learn a ton more, and you get to know how it actually works and what it can do and what it cannot do, and you know exactly how it works. Sure thing, anytime. Anytime. I have a feeling that my camera is moving like way faster than the actual screen. Or is it just me? I don't know. How could you get a download of credit card numbers by just scanning a site? No, why? I mean, I don't think these like distros offer anything. I don't think that they offer anything real. In all honesty, I mean, what is it that you can do on this on Parrot or Kali or something like that you cannot do on any other Linux distribution? I want to learn from scratch to something. Can you tell me what to do and what I need? Well, what is it that you wish to learn? So let me just go ahead and put this up. Okay, let me put it to you like this. Okay, why do I use Fedora? Why not something else? Why not anything else? Well, first of all, Fedora is an amazing distribution, Linux distribution. That is, first of all, a Red Hat sponsored project, which is a fairly large company. And it has all these amazing libraries and all sorts of amazing support, especially for virtualization and for development work of any kind. A lot of the things tend to work out of the box. It's highly configurable. It comes with so many desktop flavors, so you can pick whatever you want. You don't need to bother to custom install a new desktop. You can just you can just pull a spin of Fedora, and you can have pretty much any desktop you want there. Also, virtualization is crazy fast. I mean, it is crazy fast. Here, let me show you an example. Okay, let me just no, it's not here. Let me just show you an example. Has anybody here attempted to run an Android emulator? Have you? Okay, if you have, you know that it's like crazy, that it can be crazy slow on a PC, right? And it can be very, very, very annoying to run. But here, let me just show you how it runs on my machine. Maybe we can even develop some apps live someday. Okay, don't really care much for the tips. Yeah, I was just messing around with the new layout in Android Studio. There's like, it's no longer linear, it's something else, but it's amazing. I have it at the tip of my tongue. I just can't seem to like remember. Okay, so ADV manager, and okay, here's one. Let's run it. Here you go. Let's run